F1's new supremo, Stefano Domenicali, who we know from Ferrari, know from Lamborghini, top man, has just made his first big statement of 2021 in his new job, took over on January the 1st. And I've just got to say, big thumbs up. I think he's made comments about two aspects of things that are being talked about in Formula One. Well, three actually. One is to say, forget reverse grid races. And he's totally correct to say that in my view. I can't think of anything worse than trying to bring that sort of gimmick into Formula One. So great that we can forget about that, certainly for the time being anyway. But he has said that he's looking at other ways of jazzing up the race weekend. And he's looking at a sprint Formula One race before the Grand Prix. And again, I think that's a good idea. I was kind of brought up in the Tasman series. We didn't have those in Australia, but I was always intrigued in New Zealand by the warm-up preliminary races they used to have at places like Teretonga and Levin. And I was always really impressed, well, reading about it now, because I was kind of too young to really know what was going on, but really impressed by how hard the drivers nonetheless went in those sprint races. Big dices, you know, Jim Clark against Jackie Stewart wheel to wheel, and it was a 10-lap preliminary heat at Wigram, for example. You know, things like that, and those live in the memory. And of course, they do produce some unusual results sometimes. And Richard Atwood won one of those races for BRM. He didn't win too many Formula One races, but he did. Richie Ginther won the preliminary race in, I think, 62, Westmead in South Africa. So he won a race in a BRM. Not many people know that. So there's an opportunity there for other drivers to excel and to establish themselves. So I think sprint racing is a good thing. And thirdly, Stefano has said that he wants to see young drivers coming into Formula One be given much more of an opportunity to do some serious testing. Now, we've just been given some really nice video by Ferrari of what they've been doing at Fiorano recently, their private test track in Maranello, with Charles Leclerc and obviously with Carlos Sainz, but also with some of their younger drivers, the Callum Islets, very good example. Mick Schumacher was there, even though he's a Haas Ferrari driver now. He was there at Fiorano doing his thing, and other drivers too. But it's kind of a shame, isn't it, that they're doing it in a 2018 Ferrari, they're doing it at Fiorano. And, you know, one of my lasting memories of recent time, well, not really recent, I suppose, quite a long time ago now, was standing on the outside of Denia, the double apex right at Suzuka, when Sebastian Vettel was still a test driver for Sauber BMW, and watching Seb go in there, he went in much too quickly. It's an understeery sort of corner, and obviously tried to give it some back end, and his reflexes and his correction and his balance of the slide was just brilliant. It was fabulous to watch. And at that moment you said, right, Sebastian Vettel definitely has it in terms of being able to do what he wanted with a Formula One car and get away with it. And so those moments are kind of missing now, I think, with the young drivers. And I agree totally with Stefano as well, that we need to give them much more of an opportunity and get them out there. You know, it's such a shame, I think, that we don't have third cars in Formula One when they were banned for cost reasons. I remember putting up my hand in a press conference at Monaco, I think, when Max Mosley was still president, saying, Max, I just got to say that I think it's a really dumb idea, this banning of a spare car, because apart from anything else, you know, fans go to a racetrack, and it could be that on the first lap of practice there's a problem with the car and it stops out in the circuit, and it's the last we see of a driver that the fans may really want to watch, but if he can come back and get in the spare car, it makes a lot more sense. It's better for everybody. Oh, Peter, you're living in another world. This is completely ridiculous. How could you possibly do that? Well, you know, to me, there is, as I've said in a video recently, about the amount of extra money that is being spent on top of the budget cap of 145 this year. You know, wouldn't it be nice if we could get at some more cars at Grand Prix, certainly in the practice qualifying session, so we could see more of these young guys doing what they can do, and they deserve the opportunity, I think, to have more mileage. So Stefano Domenicali put out that statement Friday night, and I just wanted to say I think you're totally on the case, and it's great to have you in this position in Formula One.